right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf. Today's show is very special. We have, of course, one of the most important shows ever because of the message we will be talking about here in just a minute. I just want to make sure that you all know we're going to be covering all of the stories from the last 2 days, and we're going to be putting out a word of advice here. So, again, stick around. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. We won't be knocked down. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We have a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so remember, go get our notifications over at marfooglenews.com, and remember, every single thing that you see here, you're going to have the source for at marfooglenews.com. Now, when you go to our website, it's very easy to navigate. In fact, it's done by thumbnail, so, of course, look for Total Collapse, and then knocking on our door now. Once you click on that, you will see in the top left corner the current show. You will get to all of our links, every source that we have. If we show you a video, a tweet, a document, it's all going to be there. Again, that makes sure that you know exactly where your stories are coming from. If you do want to support us, we are completely independent. We would love to add more staff. If you want to support in any way, you can find any of our affiliates or donation ways over on the right side. Now, down at the bottom, there's web-only content. There is stuff that is basically too hot for TV that platforms do not like anymore. Again, go down there and you'll find all sorts of stuff. And then completely a whole nother show down there. Today's show is going to be kind of on a more serious note. Sometimes we have fun. Sometimes we are a little bit more serious here. Let's bring in Dex, my co-host / internet brother. What is going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So let's get right into it. It's just to cover a couple things to let you know why you should be sticking around. Those only living in China will be allowed to attend the Olympics. There's a lot of things there that we'll talk about here in a second. Of course, there are people supposedly, theoretically, being able to live forever. Big boom over Georgia. Dex actually heard this boom himself. We'll explain what that was. Again, this actually shook Dex's house in Georgia. And then, of course, Hawaii having Kilauea going off. We have NK fires a new anti-aircraft missile. We, of course, have the moon is leaving us. Again, we've talked about the moon as well. We've talked about, of course, the new movie Moonfall. Is it predictive? A lot of really weird stuff is going on. And then them predicting in 2030 that we'll have massive floods due to the moon's movement. And then proposed bills that are happening. And then, of course, even special ops troops hunkered down in a California airport, essentially after a ninja attack. Lots of craziness going on here. And then... yeah, so we'll get right into it. Thank you, everybody that has popped in early. I appreciate all of you. And then, of course, only those living in China allowed to attend 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. So if you follow my show or if you're new here, we've talked a lot about what I believe is happening with China and the U.S. Obviously, you've probably heard by now that there may be a conflict on the way, or some sort of conflict that is going to happen eventually, as far as a conflict between the U.S. and China, possibly with Russia, possibly now with India, possibly with a whole axis of evil, as they call it, right? So one of the theories out there is that a lot of the stuff that's not coming from there and that is piling up in the ports and everything else is that something has changed, behind the public eye, that something is happening right now. When I went into IKEA a couple weeks ago and they said they're not getting any shipments, or their computer says they're not getting stuff until August of 2021. I'm sorry, August of 2022. So a whole year from now. There's a lot of instances like this. One of my friends owns an Amazon business that, of course, deals all sorts of different items. I actually have two friends that own Amazon-type businesses. They are seeing delayed or just indefinite freezes on some of the products, and almost all of them are from China. So obviously, you could say, oh, that's because they're sitting there. We found out that twice as many ships and containers that are here in California and other places waiting, there's twice as many not leaving China. Now, once you start kind of putting together what we're doing, we're drilling right now, essentially doing invasion drills. And again, there's not much else you could call landing A-10 Warthogs and, of course, giant jets on highways. The only reason you would do that is if your bases and everything else were destroyed. You have, of course, China cutting out all Western, anything Western world out of their culture. Right now, they are shutting down English-speaking schools. They don't want English in their country. This is, again, something that, overnight, English schools around the country went bankrupt. Several are just non-existent. And then, of course, what else is non-existent is the visas that are from all of the foreigners from all over the world that are teaching or were teaching English in China. Now, people are privately, apparently, from, of course, insiders and people like Serpensa that know a lot of that English-speaking, English-teaching world. They are doing private, kind of illegal sessions privately with people. That it's actually demanding a higher dollar, but they'll only be able to do that as long as they can stay in the country. With this, only those living in China allowed to attend the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. Now, for the situation going on right now, of course, we have a world event happening, which is, again, ramping up in some places. Australia, some say, is one of the worst places where a lot of the rules and things are changing. It says the International Olympic Committee announced Wednesday that only those living in China are allowed to attend the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing, set to start on February 4th. Tickets will be sold exclusively to spectators residing in China's mainland, who meet the requirements of the CV countermeasures, the announcement said. Specific requirements on this countermeasure for for spectators from China's mainland, and the details of ticketing arrangements are under discussion and development and will be released to the public in due course once they are finalized. So this actually could change completely and not even let anybody. They could cancel it. We don't know. But really what that's saying is no one from outside of China is coming into China for these huge games, which is kind of a massive deal. Dex, am I wrong? Is that kind of a big deal for them to change that at this time and after this much has gone on in the world with, of course, the event that started in 2019?
Yeah, it absolutely is a big deal. And we were just talking last week about their digital crypto, and they were talking about how they wanted to roll that out during and showcase it internationally during the games so that people that were traveling in could use it and get to see how it worked and how great it was. So this will hamper that. And obviously there's something, I don't know if, the excuse right now is totally CV, but is there something else going on here that they're basically saying we're not going to fly anyone else in? Don't make plans, don't make travel plans unless you're on the team, basically, right?
And again, this just changed relatively quick. I mean, so if you look at what is actually happening with the law changes and things that are happening in China, August 29th was a start. It actually was after a week of things kicking off there. Of course, they changed the rules. of gaming in general. Anyone gaming under 18 had to basically do their video games from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday night. So 1 hour per week for the entire country. The entire country can't do that. That was after cutting and basically slicing all of this international chat out, so you can only chat with people in China. And then, of course, you had them banning effeminate men and anything like that from Chinese television, Chinese media, everything else. They ended up taking down a bunch of the idols of the people there in China, even local there Chinese idols. They ended up removing them from their kind of intranet. They are now saying that they do not want their Chinese people to idolize anyone. Right? They don't want anyone that draws that kind of power and draws that kind of awe in people. Now they are changing, of course, a lot of things there. And they told on August 29th, they told all of the mouthpieces, all of the newspapers, the daily, I believe the People's Daily, the Shenzhen News, all of these mouthpieces of the Chinese government, they told them that on August 29th that the U.S. is behind everything that is happening right now, and then a very specific place it came from, right? So, and they said that it was an ATTACK. That was taken as gospel, and sources inside and outside of China, people that are doing VPNs to get out of it, they are saying it's getting harder for them to communicate outside of China, but they are saying that the change is being felt. Now, if you are in China, or if you are from China or have family there and you have a take on this, again, I would like for you to email me, DM me on Twitter. Tell me what the people that you know or what is going on there. It seems to me like we are separating, and it's a very quick separation. Now, for all those containers there, now we are actually putting in our military all over the country to replace employees that are not following rules, right? At the same time, just take everything out of it. We have military all over the country being placed, in very particular places, especially along the coastlines. Just putting that out there. On the East Coast and the West Coast, and then very specific areas. That alone is something that's kind of alarming. But then you have, of course, you have the type of drills that we are doing, the type of equipment that we are ordering, the type of equipment that is being manufactured quickly, the kind of partnerships that we are actually making with other countries. They are basically picking sides right now. Red Rover, send them right over. It looks like India started drilling with Russia, and Russia is partners with China. India and China, again, something happened between them because they were battling for 40 years or 30 years or however many over the Himalayan mountains and the border. There is no actual border drawn. They both claim parts of this Himalayan mountain kind of line. And it was so much so that they were fighting. Last year, there were 20 Indians who perished by being thrown off of cliffs, essentially. They were battling hand-to-hand because they were unarmed. So it was a pretty big clash. It was one of the worst in decades, right? That all of a sudden got pulled back. Both India and China pulled back all of their troops from the border, which should say something to people. I mean, that means they've talked. Some people said, oh, well, maybe they're getting along, or maybe they've got kind of a truce. Well, then India goes and drills, doing these drills with Russia. Something is happening. Now, that's a massive country, 1.4 billion people. China is 1.4 billion, if not 1.5 now. They have one of the largest actual manned armies. And then China has been changing all of their vehicles and all their boats to carry more soldiers, to carry vehicles. They are turning their civilian ferries into drop ships. So there's a lot just on this first story. This, I believe, just to let you know, from all of our Foogle fam, everybody feels that things are moving extremely fast right now. So I don't think most people are seeing it. We are so focused on, of course, everything that is happening here to us, to our kids, to everything else. But it's all part of something even bigger than that. And what we're talking about is huge. this is even bigger. Something is going on that is far, far bigger than anyone knows. Dex, now as far as I know, there's a lot more too. I mean, we've put together so much of this, it's insane. As far as the containers not leaving and the things that are not coming, do you as audience have any examples of this? I know Dex, your friend, is not getting almost anything for his car stereo business. Anything from China is that's here he can get a hold of, but anything that's overseas, he's having a problem with all of the major brands because of the shortages and this and that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's correct.
So
yeah, and this is going to continue. I mean, they've told us it's going to continue, but you got to be, the writing's on the wall. This is not the number of ships off the coast has not shrunk. It's actually grown. The shortages haven't, shored up in certain areas. They've actually expanded into other areas. So yeah, this is not on the mend anytime soon.
So my advice to people is to closely pay attention to what they are, what is not. If something is grabbing your attention from all of mainstream and all of, social media, pay attention to that. Pay attention to what else is happening. This may seem small as far as only people there. It seems to me like nothing's going over there, nothing's coming back. There's a lot of things that if China did truly cut us off, we would be screwed. We, in the U.S., 97% of our antibiotics, as of a couple years ago, it may be a little bit less, 97% of our antibiotics came from China. I thought it was like 90 or 95. 90% is actually a real number, but that was for worldwide. Worldwide, the entire world was getting their antibiotics, or at least the APIs, the active pharmaceutical ingredients from China. 80% is the number for APIs. A lot of the world is dependent on China for that. They say that the U.S., at least as of a couple years ago, virtually had no way to make up for that difference. So if China was just to all of a sudden say, we're closing doors, we're not shipping you anything, we virtually had no way to make these antibiotics. Now, antibiotics are giant. Just so you know, antibiotics save probably millions of lives a year for little things. A standard cold could, take people out, or a standard thing that would normally you take some antibiotics, it's over, or an infection or something like that, it's over. Without those can turn into basically people that aren't here anymore. So that is a huge thing by itself. There's a ton of stuff. Some people have, and Dex said something, well, they depend on us. Then if they cut us off and we just totally separated, they would, then they'd kind of be screwed, right? They're losing their cash cow. My personal opinion is that you don't need a cash cow when you can steal the whole farm. So think about that. Are we at that place yet? Well, what I am hearing is yes, that we are extremely close. And we may find out that some of this stuff that's going on is all related under a big, it might be under a big umbrella. I think it's good to think open-mindedly about all of this and to make sure to never close down anything, because guess what? There's so much stuff being pushed out. It's to bury the real stuff. So we just continually have to ask questions and have to ask what is really going on here. So again, I hope that people understand that. And then thank you, Cyber Jedi Master. I appreciate you. We'll talk about, and then the DoD employee I talked to a few months ago, that he was on basically on a base. We were taking photos. I kind of told some of this story. I was taking photos of what I thought was a evacuation tower, but it was actually the future site of one of these huge golf ball radar things. And they were still arguing about the pros and the cons, but they built the tower for it. It looks just like a cement, evacuation tower you would see for a tsunami. And it was at the top of a 120-foot cliff. That is when I found out from him that they had just recently put in seismological equipment in that location, 120 feet up on limestone, that they are now monitoring it 24/7 because they were so worried about, of course, Cascadia, the earthquakes, and that being wiped out. That was the town of Moclips, essentially their evacuation point, and that has now been undone because apparently the town of Moclips in Washington, even this bluff that is 120 feet high, the government experts are saying that the wave will be higher than that because of how the shore is. Essentially, it will come all the way in, and then right before there's this huge lip that will shoot the water up even higher than that. So we're talking 150 to 200-foot waves. That is something that the public does not know, and that is something that I believe no one can prove wrong as far as in Moclips. I believe that is a fact, and I don't think it's being talked about publicly, or it hasn't been put out publicly yet. And anyone can, I would love to be proven wrong on that. I believe that that is a huge thing in itself, that we're talking about even when that tsunami hits, talking 150-foot waves in parts of the shore. So therefore, a 120-foot cliff would not be sufficient enough to actually protect the people there. So that's why they undid that. So getting back to the tower, I was taking pictures. He ends up telling me, we ended up getting on the subject of conflict with China. I believe him when he says within 2 years. He also told me about some of the cells, the T cells, that there's 5 T cells just in Washington that they say they're watching. And he's not saying like, people. He's saying actual groups that are meeting actively. Now, as far as this gentleman deals with soldiers from all over the world coming to this specific place because it is one of the places where they go for their kind of in-job vacation. Beyond that, won't say more because it is a sensitive thing. But on top of that, I think that he is right. Otherwise, there has to be some sort of other major change if we don't go to conflict with China. And I've stuck to my opinion on that, and I am totally open-minded. If you want to convince me otherwise, I'd love to hear why. Just do it politely. That's why a lot of us are, and by a lot of us, anyone who is prep-minded, just doing a little bit extra here and there. And that's what I suggest. I don't suggest, going out and living in a hole, but I do suggest having extra food and water. That is something that is openly suggested by the Department of Homeland Security. They said it 2 years ago, that just in case of an EMP or a blackout, that all of our power goes down, that you have 6 months to a year of food, because that's how long it would take at least to fix the situation. So we'll move through the rest of this because we have a lot more stuff here. This is why we were talking about. It says the workers who keep global supply chains moving are warning of a system collapse. Now, if you're seeing what is happening, or if you have, again, like if you see what's not coming, it's pretty scary. There's essential items that are just not leaving port there in China. Is there something bigger going on here? I would love to ask that question of you. You all are just as smart as I am. We are all equals here. So if you have a opinion on that, please let me know. We'll talk about this here in just a second. I do want to say thank you to Gunpowder Productions. In my latest video I uploaded today, an inside view of an Operation Thunderstruck, a counter T and active bang bang pew pew conducted by EMA and FEMA and DHS in Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana. Gunpowder. So I don't know if it was you that told me about that, about Operation Thunderstruck, right? But I would love to look at that, and then possibly on Monday's show or sooner than that, we'll definitely look at it. Spartano Negative, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate the lightning bolt there. And then Tico and Taco, thank you for massive support. You didn't even write anything. You just supported the channel. Thank you so much. Again, Tico and Taco, probably a super sticker there. Okie Drummer Guy 89 says, I'm in AV. Everything is on eternal back order. Okay, so AV, everything is on eternal back order. Okie Drummer Guy, I hope that's not the case. And then we have Open House Texas says, hi, Adam and Dex. President B hired new controller who is from the USSR. She wants to do away with all banks and make the Fed the main banking system for the U.S. This seems a lot like a takeover. I very well could be. Mindy Bowman, thank you so much for your support. I am his. Thank you as well for a massive support. You can always write something there, anything. Again, thank you. Tristan Early, thank you for the 1111, USC 18241 and 242, the deprivation of rights under of law. David Strait. Again, I will have to look that one up. Tiffany Blue, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Bones, you know you don't have to. You do enough as a mod. Thank you for your support, though. Guys, make sure to thank your mods. They do an awesome job down there, keeping it positive, polite, and keeping people pushed up. And then Sia's Daily World says, prepare and protect your loved ones. I believe, yeah, spend time with your fam, spend time with that, all, just any day without anything happening in the world. Think about this. Any of us could be called up there for, for any reason, just without any of the disastrous things going on, right? CH, thank you for subscribing. LG Gig, thank you for super chatting as well. Thank you guys for the super stickers. I appreciate all of you. And thank you for supporting Independent. So as far as it says, seafarers, truck drivers, and airline workers have endured quarantines, travel restrictions, and complex CV and testing requirements to keep stretched supply chains moving during the P. Now, remember, all of these companies and all these trucking companies, Dex, do you know if the trucking companies, if this new requirement that is going in, do you know if the trucking company has more than 100 trucks, does that mean that they are also required to do that?
The OSHA rule is going to be 100 employees or more.
But I guess a lot of truckers are their own workers, but I'm sure there is a ton of a big percentage that are under these, giant companies that work hourly or work by the mile or whatever, and they're considered an employee. Are some of these people safe from this, or at least still working through this?
It's 100 employees or more. So if they have 100 employees or more and you're one of them, then you're in that group.
So I'm sure that this is affecting trucking. I know that, a lot of truckers, they either own their own truck or they lease their truck and they are kind of, their own boss. I hope there's a lot of those right now because honestly, if this starts really falling apart, by the way, a global economic collapse will cause world panic. It will cause chaos around the planet, just as this event that has been going on for the last 2 years has. It says, but many are now reaching their breaking point, posing yet another threat to the badly tangled network of ports, container vessels, and trucking companies that move goods around the world. In an open letter Wednesday to the heads of state attending the United Nations General Assembly, the International Chamber of Shipping, or the ICS, and other industry groups warned of a global transport system collapse. So this is what's being talked about at the UN, a global transport system collapse. I don't know, again, what exactly that would look like, but it kind of looks like we're sort of almost there. Right now, you have the port in China just loaded up. Nothing's leaving. If there's twice as much here, that means that, again, some of this takes a month to get over. And if they're not leaving, that means there's going to be at least a month where there's nothing. If they wait a month without sending out a single container, people should be asking questions. And if that happens, that means there's a month where nobody gets nothing. I don't think people realize how dependent on China we have been for everything. You are now, the majority of people are going to see exactly what items we have been depending on China for. And I think it's going to be shocking. I think people are going to be absolutely flabbergasted when they find out how much is made in China. This is scary, people. This is like absolutely horrifying. You're going to see, and watch, we'll go back to this in a month from now if we are still here. you're going to see all these stores start having the weirdest gaps in their stores for anything from Barnes and Noble to of course car shops, everything. People are waiting for car parts. A lot of car parts, especially the ones most people can afford, all made in China. Car parts shops, I've already gotten several messages. That industry seems to have been really hit hard. Mechanics and everything else, they're all ordering parts like what's his face said, eternal back order. So there's just nothing there. Nothing's coming. There are containers not leaving with those in it. My question is this because they know something's about to happen? Is there going to be, are they butting heads right now? Is this because of a shortage of drivers? We had BOD and Shan. Now BOD is out of the hospital. If you didn't know, BOD is an old school Foogle fam. She and Shan and Overland Rob kind of ran a lot of, Overland Rob did a lot of stuff for the California groups. We used to have state groups in every state preparing before the Discord. They took everybody out on that Discord. They ran the state meeting and they went down and they got it and they counted at least 90 ships out in the water. They did video down there. They also interviewed a gentleman who's worked there for 20 or 30 years. I can't remember, at least 20 years, and said he's never seen this anything like this in his entire career. But also he said that they're waiting on chassis, some sort of thing, the piece of metal that hooks up to the truck that picks up the container. And without those, they're just stuck. They're not doing anything. Is it really because of chassis? I don't know. Why are we not putting if they're putting military on all these other positions? Why are they not replacing those drivers? Why are they not immediately starting the training of whatever class driving position that they need to fill? Why are they not putting military there to fill those positions? If this is going to cause a global transport system collapse, why are we not putting military in those positions? Think about that. Everything else is being reported. I mean, filled, by the way, they're filling bus driver jobs, school bus drivers with National Guard. Why are we not filling these driving jobs? Just seems very out of place here. It says,
you know what else to add to that is there's a statistic from last month that was 8.4 million unemployed, but 10 million job openings. How's that for a crazy number? 10 million openings, but 8.4 unemployed.
There's more jobs than people to work them, and we still have this issue. And everybody wants to blame it because people want free money or they want unemployment. That very well may be, but I also think that a lot of people are probably scared. A lot of people in that bracket are scared of getting hurt or getting hurt permanently, you know what I'm saying, by something that really makes them fear. In an open letter Wednesday, of course, they wrote this. It says a global transport system collapse if governments do not restore freedom of movement to transport workers and give them priority to receive the recognized by the World Organization. It says, quote, global supply chains are beginning to buckle as 2 years worth of strain of transport workers take their toll. The groups wrote. It says the letter has also been signed by the International Air Transport Association, the IATA, the International Road Transport Union, IRU, and the International Transport Workers Federation, the ITF. Together, they represent 65 million transport workers globally. It says, quote, all transport sectors are seeing a shortage of workers and expect more to leave as a result of the poor treatment millions have faced during this, right? Putting the supply chain under greater threat. Guy Platten, Secretary General of the ICS, said that the worker shortages are likely to worsen towards the end of the year because seafarers may not want to commit to new contracts and risk not making it home for Christmas given port shutdowns and constant changes to travel restrictions. That will heap pressure on stretched supply chains and could, for example, worsen current challenges with food and fuel supply in the United Kingdom. Now, remember, United Kingdom went through this period where people were lined up miles trying to get gas, and people that were at the gas pumps were filling up 12 cans, 16 cans until the gas stations would run out. People were having an issue, and they say that it was artificial because they heard about this thing, they all panicked, bought, and then they all bought all the gas, and then you couldn't get it because everybody overstocked on gas. Now they're saying it very well could be worse. We said 6 months ago that we haven't even seen the shortages and the real hit of all of this going on, from Suez to everything else. And again, Suez, very strange things there. It's like, how did that even happen? In all the years that we've been shipping stuff through there, the thousands and thousands of containers that go through, not one has ever done anything like it. So we're in a time where records are being broken all the time, and they're not the good records you want broke. Allison Wonderland, thank you so much for subscribing. And Dyke Graf says, thank you for keeping us informed. Well, thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking with us. Make sure to get our back if something goes down here. Justin C, see that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. I hope that people aren't afraid. I hope people that realize you will actually gain a lot of solace and a lot of stress relief if you do end up doing a little, getting yourself responsibly prepared for any kind of disaster, whether that be a tornado, whether that be a storm, whether that be a hurricane, whether that be an earthquake. If you are prepared, trust me, it takes a lot of that fear out. That's the thing. If you don't want to be afraid, you want to be prepared. Stephen McMahon says, why not pay the truckers more money? They weren't making enough to begin with. Some agree with that. Yeah. I don't think it's an issue of money. I think a lot of them are getting paid a lot over what they usually are. So I don't know what's going on there. Chris Stiers, thank you for subscribing just now a minute ago. I appreciate all of the new folks over there. And then D-Live, thank you. Everybody that has popped in. Pam Beth, Scooby-Doo-Do-Right, thank you. Professor Mort, Kishara is in the house. We've got Niall Adamson, thank you for following. Faker80, thank you for following as well. We've got Kishara says, 10 years, no gas cars by 2030. Costs jacked. Yes, Kishar, that's a whole other thing. So how do you have a world that's run by a petrodollar if you don't have cars that use petrol? You're going to use it for other stuff, right? And is it still going to be heavily backed on this oil world of petrol? Don't think so. They say that is even going to stop, that they can't keep taking the oil from the planet or something, right? Lisa K23, thank you for your support over on D-Live. Thank you for everybody that goes above and beyond and supports over there. Appreciate you. Oliver242, Marcia, thank you for following. Anthocris, PerplexQ, Magamamama, I think that's how you say it. Lou Dog, thank you so much. Everybody that has just followed just now. Lots of new people over there. Thank you so much. Chewy Weather, Venus L, The Naughty Gypsy. We've got Stone Fanatic, Bear Claws, Meat Puppet 007. And C Notes 88. Thank you, everybody that is dropping love in D-Live. Appreciate you guys. Red Storm. Hey, it's nice to see you. Again, I feel like people really need to start getting ready for any kind of thing seriously. Dex. The big boom. I'm gonna go back to the theoretically living longer. The big boom. So can you describe what happened before you say what happened?
Okay, so you describe what happened to me?
Yeah, and knowing you didn't know anything, right?
No, yeah, I knew nothing. I was out back and I was walking my dog. It was about 11 p.m. Eastern time here in Georgia, and I'm west of Atlanta. And out of nowhere, there's just this loud, low boom. Like really low and deep, and it was so deep that you could feel like the like you've heard thunder in the distance and you hear it rolling towards you. It sounded very much like that. Like you had this roll of sound that was just coming towards you, or this boom coming at you, and you could hear it go through the house. You could hear it go through everything. And then my dog had gone in at that time. I was still sitting outside, and I heard him barking strangely in the house, and my wife thought like she thought I dropped something or pushed something against the wall because the house creaked when this went off, but she didn't actually hear the boom. She just heard the creak of the house. And then, of course, we jumped online, and everyone around here was like, was that an earthquake? Was that a bomb? Did something blow up? You know, we looked everywhere. I didn't see anything in the lights, and nothing in the sky had lit up at the time when that went off. But then we found out about 10 minutes later that this other event had been planned. And I think you've got the article there that explains what everyone heard. And we found out people were hearing it as far away as Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, where this event happened.
Now, I don't want to turn this into something it's not, but I would like to know, did anybody in Georgia or Florida know about this beforehand? So what they say it was SpaceX. They said it was the Dragon X, or the SpaceX Dragon capsule, re-entering the atmosphere. It says, did you hear it? Did you see it? Many Georgians reacted on social media late Thursday evening when a loud boom shook their houses. The boom was the SpaceX Dragon capsule re-entering the atmosphere, returning from its 23rd resupply mission to the International Space Station. It happened a little before 11 p.m. on Thursday night. It says 11 Alive community storm tracker Rose Norwood sent in a video from near Savannah. Now, we've attached that video on our website. We're not going to play it for copyright reasons, but it said essentially this thing was streaking across. Now, they said that they told people about this beforehand. I want to know how much beforehand.
Yeah, they didn't say they didn't say, hey, be prepared for a sonic boom. But they did say SpaceX did tweet and say, hey, this will be re-entering Earth at around 11 p.m. As before it lands, and people in Florida and Georgia may actually get to see it in the sky.
Now, okay, so they tweeted beforehand, so that says that they announced it. That would take away anybody saying what else is this or what else could this be. My question is, this shook people's houses. They said it was, I guess you felt it. Was it like anything you've ever felt before?
Well, at first it had me questioning, but as a kid, I remember hearing sonic booms, and I just kept resorting to that because I couldn't see anything in the sky. And I knew if it was like a nearby local, let's just say a gas explosion at a home or something like that, there would have been a flash that would have gone off with that. And you would have seen it on the horizon. You would have seen it light up the sky, especially at midnight. So the fact that I'm sitting and I was actually looking in the distance where it came from, because I was looking south at the time. And so I didn't see anything. That just made me think immediately it was a sonic boom. And then I was sort of like listening to see if there were more, thinking there might be a jet somewhere or multiple jets taken off. That's what I expected.
Well, here's the thing. If they didn't put the tweet out beforehand, you could say, well, was this actually a meteor and they're saying it was the SpaceX capsule? But then you go, oh, well, they know. What if they did track a meteor that was coming in and then they said, okay, well, why don't we have SpaceX? Why don't you put out a tweet saying it's, a Dragon X capsule or whatever? The only reason I say that is because we're seeing, just last week, we had in one night 5 fireballs. Or it might have been 1 week. In 1 week, 5 fireballs came into the atmosphere and made big booms all over the place. Why? And for anybody that's watched our show, we showed you the graph. We showed you the actual charts. Over the last 5 years now, it's just doubled every year, the amount of sightings and the amount of the groups of people that are seeing it. They judge it in, they have kind of the graph worked out into how many people reported it. So under 10, over 100, over 1,000, over, 50,000, or, I think it's like 10, 100, and then it goes like 500 or 1,000, then it goes 10,000 people. How many people reported this thing, the object? Those in every category have, in some cases, quadrupled, we saw. But they've doubled every year. And people would say, people commented on the original, go, oh, well, more people have video cameras. This is more people reporting, period. This is people seeing it. This isn't even videos. This is people actually reporting it. And even if we've had cell phones for 20 years, we've had cell phones with great cameras for, 10, 15 years. So this isn't just all people seeing it. This is more of it happening. This is more stuff coming into our atmosphere. So is there something out there? There's a rumor that's been going around for a long time that we are possibly going to be headed through an asteroid field or something. That's if you believe that, if you believe the floating through space and everything else. If you don't, I understand why anybody questions everything that they are told. Because honestly, we've been, lied to since we were born. But again, if that is true, that boom was really big. So what do you think? Did you feel it? Did you feel the boom? Let me know. And feel free. You can even do a YouTube video of just your reaction. Even if you just want to record your reaction and what happened and how it was and what you saw. Load it up to YouTube. You can go over to marfooglenews.com and go play my video. You can actually upload your video there. It actually gives you different categories you can upload under, and then just make sure to check the box saying, we can play it here on the show. So, Liz LaMarche says, "Evening, fam. I look forward to the Marfoogle News and all the peeps in the chat. My appreciation goes out to you, Adam, Dex, and mods. Thank you." Well, thank you as well. Thank you for the 4,500 plus watching. In fact, with D-Live, we've got over 5,000. Thank you. Lisa K23, thank you. Queen BTP says, "We appreciate you guys." Thank you. Droppin' Love, says Lisa K. I appreciate that. Ghost Rider 611. Thank you guys for dropping love over on D-Live. It really is appreciated. Plumber 1978, thank you for following. And a few others over there. Thank you, everybody that's new. Make sure, mods, to welcome the new people. And just in general, anybody can welcome new people. If you see a new name that's in chat, make sure to make sure they feel welcome. Even if they come in being a jerk. Remember, we try to give people 3 chances. And again, the biggest trolls that we've ever encountered are now Foogle fam members that are actually really happy here. Everybody has bad days, and a lot of people take out their frustrations on other people online because it's not in person. So just remember that. I'm sure all of you know someone that you hated when you first met, and now you're best friends. This is just like the online equivalent of it. Martin Gonzalez, what's going on? We've got Amy Hawley. Thank you, Lori Wolf. And remember, by the way, in your chats and in your comments, just remember you're part of this as well. If you want to keep this whole thing going, try to be polite and try to remember, if we're doing these, if we're going around certain subjects, try to do the same in the same way we do. You can always replace things so we understand. But again, they want to find any reason to knock things down. So again, please help us out there. So again, with the International Space Station, what went on there, it's crazy. Well, we're here though. Before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, you can get up to $100 off on a 3-month supply of food. If you have not already, I would highly recommend doing so. Most of you have already done so. I hope that you have your own way of doing this. But if you want to go to a one-stop shop where you can find anything from water purification to iodine pills to emergency radios to food, any kind of survival-related gear you can get at marfooglenews.com/prep. This is through My Patriot Supply. It's the essentials of life. They have battery banks, they have generators, they have everything you can think of. Again, there. Survival books. Again, you're not going to have Google at some point. If anything goes down, you're not going to have a computer to back everything up. So again, this helps us out. They end up giving you a discount, and they end up helping us out with the commission. So you pay less than you would normally, and you're helping your favorite channel. If you don't support us, support one of your other favorite channels. This is how the ecosystem works on YouTube, especially in this niche, because guess what? Those camera channels and review channels and that kind of stuff, they don't go through the same stuff. It's not equal. So thank you everybody that supports us. Again, if you need any reasons, just look outside your window why you would need to get ready for anything. Or think about the first couple weeks of CV. Think about those store shelves. And then want to live forever? Theoretically, you could. We actually covered something a lot like this. It says humans can probably live up to at least 130 or possibly well beyond through the chances of reaching super old age remain vanishingly small. The outer limit of human lifespan has long been hotly debated, with recent studies making the case we could live for up to 150 years, or arguing that there is no maximum theoretical age for humans. What ends up happening, even if you can keep the brain or the body young, the brain ends up aging beyond to the point where you can't talk, that you need somebody to tell you what to do, tell you who to call on, where, you end up falling asleep, doing multiple things, including breathing. You forget to do that. So yeah, that's why it's much harder to get to those older ages. But who knows? We might have a couple 150-year-olds that are lying about their age, on podiums. The new research published Wednesday in the Royal Society Open Science Journal wades into the debate that analyzing new data into supercentenarians or centenarians, people aged 110 or more, and semi-supercentenarians, 105 or more, again, the risk of death generally increases throughout our lifetime. Researchers' analysis shows that risk eventually plateaus and remains constant at approximately 50-50. It says beyond 110, one can think of living another year as being almost like flipping a fair coin. A professor of statistics at Swiss Federal Institute says. It says if it comes up heads, you live till your next birthday. If not, then you die at some point within the next year. It's kind of sad, kind of creepy. But we've actually talked about the science behind it. Who knows? They could come up with something for the truly elites that cost millions of dollars that could potentially keep you going. Now they are talking about uploading our brains into an AI computer, or uploading you so you still exist. I have never gotten that theory, though, because it's not going to be. You're going to go dark, and then some computer is going to go on. It's not like you will be there. You're still going to die. Dex, have you ever got that? Like, it's not... If it actually transferred over live, like you were seeing something and it transferred over, that would be one thing. But if you're transferred over after... If it's just copying and pasting, that's not the same thing.
Well, yeah. And then you got to question, where does your soul go, right?
Exactly. Without a soul, you're nothing. Kilauea volcano eruption is contained to Halema Yuma U crater. No residents in danger. So some are questioning what is going on with the planet Earth. A lot of volcanoes are active. Of course, we have La Palma. A lot of people are debating over La Palma. We have Alaskan volcanoes actually going up in rank from, yellow, orange, red, that kind of thing. And then now you have Hawaii County. Kilauea is now yet again in the news. It is blowing some steam out. It says the U.S. Geological Survey says the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, or HVO, confirmed that the Halema Yuma U crater in Kilauea is erupting as of 3:42 p.m. on Wednesday, September 29th. It says at 3:20 p.m., HVO officials detected a glow in the Kilauea summit. Webcam images. This glow showed an eruption had started in the Halema Yuma U crater. So we're following it. Of course, this is something we missed because we missed yesterday's show. So we are going to update on all of the most kind of recent stuff, most likely on Monday, if something emergency doesn't pop up. Ilea says, hey, just curious if you're still doing a mod show tomorrow. Yes. So I'll be doing a show solo again. So we will be talking about that most likely tomorrow morning. Some mods might not make it. Either way, we'll do it. We're going to end up doing it and pull people on. I still need to work on the technical side of it, but again, I think it will be fun. Redeemed, thank you so much. Barefoot Lass says, shout out to our awesome mods. Redeemed, thank you for the big support. Liz LaMarche, again, thank you. Gina W. says, I live in Washington also. What are your thoughts on all the FEMA camps here in our state? Something is going down. Our state is really bad. Gina, I don't know what to say. I wish I could up and move right now. I wish there wasn't, I really wish I didn't. I just recently re-signed for another year, and it's like I wish I could get out of here, and not just because of all that, just everything. This state is really bad. It's one of the worst. It's like one of the what do you call it? It's one of the example states. This is the states where they do an example of like basically the opposite of everything I believe in. So I don't know what to say. Jeanette Mungia says, "Hey, Marf and Dex, love the YouTube channel and thank you for keeping us all informed. Keep up the great work. God bless." Delaware Sasquatch, sorry, Dex, it was actually me after a chilled night. Eating chili. Chili night. That's awesome. American Freedom, thank you for subscribing. The preparation stage says, finally get to see a live. Need to talk to Dex about living in Georgia. That's funny you said that before I said that, but yeah, Georgia is a lot better. I know because Dex and I talk about this. Dex is like blown away by some of the stuff that goes on here. I mean, we were closing public streets here for walking. Public residential actual streets are closed to all people. I mean, it's just like they're closing miles and miles of streets so people can walk them. I get part of that, but like, what? You can't visit unless you live there. Like, that's weird. And then you can't use that street as a public person. That's closing down public yeah. It's a whole show. Support good channels, folks, and Marfoogle is hardworking. Send your super chat. Global, that's not necessary, but thank you, Global Witness. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's talking about everything that's going on. He's making the biblical connections here, and there is one hell of a lot of them. And then Meat Papa 007, him and Jacob Israel. If you guys haven't checked out Jacob Israel and Global Witness, and make sure to go check out their video they did together. They did a really great interview there. And then as a trucker, most deliveries are just in time, 3 to 4 days for most stores to be completely empty. The majority of truckers are company drivers. Some are owner operators. Also, some banks are closing physical branches. I already know about that. There's several closed all around me. Or they've changed their hours to the point where it's like not even, there's no point. It's like open for an hour. Why would you be open for an hour? That's just flipping weird. Stephen McMahon says, how do I change the credit card I pay you guys with? I don't know how you pay us. Are you talking about super chats? I actually do not know.
I posted a link in chat to him.
Oh, okay.
For the super chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Stephen McMahon, you don't have to do anything, but thank you for going out of your way to help. And then Stephen McMahon, why not pay the truckers more money? Got that one. And then Gina, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you. Everybody, it's just going to be an insane year. So here is a picture of happening now, a new eruption of Kilauea inside of Halema Yuma U. So there is a image of the crater there for of erupting. So hopefully that doesn't turn out to be too huge. And then we have man opens emergency door, jumps into the wing of a plane, onto the wing of a plane in Miami. And no, this isn't the Twilight Zone with Captain Kirk. This is a real story. It says that a passenger on American Airlines flight that landed at Miami International Airport opened an emergency door and walked onto the wing as the plane reached the terminal, authorities said. Flight 920 from Cali, Colombia, had just landed in Miami Wednesday night when the incident happened. It says the customer was immediately detained by law enforcement. We thank our team members and law enforcement for their professionalism and quick action, American Airlines said in a statement. It says U.S. Customs Border Protection took the man into custody without incident, did not cause any delays in other passengers on the plane. There was no other details, so it's like this is just such a weird one.
I heard he had a TikTok thing and he was yelling, "I'm on a plane."
Show
off all those.
That totally. What is so sad is that makes 100%.
That was a joke.
Oh, okay. That would make sense, Dex. You know what's
I know it would. Yeah, it's that, or he was just absolutely.
You know what's really freaky?
Crazy,
We're gonna find out that that's true. That he did it for a TikTok video, because there's so many idiots doing dangerous TikTok videos, for likes or clout. What they don't realize, you do a stupid thing like that, you're getting judged by way more. People might watch your video over and over, but they're judging, and you're going to lose jobs in the future. You're going to be a hated person. Like, there's seriously people that have done, like, injured people with their dumb, stupid TikToks, and they'll do it for what? I don't understand why people are so dumb. Angry mobs threat prompt school boards to seek FBI assistance. Dex, do you want to explain this?
Well, if you recall, maybe about a month ago, we talked about one of the school boards that was videotaped live, where all the parents were just up in arms. This was the one with the teacher that was, I guess, recruiting students for certain activist type things, and the parents were just livid. And the school board sort of went away, didn't listen to them, but then left and then snuck out the back door. And so apparently everything that seems to be going wrong in schools is causing all of these parents to actually show up at school board meetings and create, bedlam, because they want to be heard and they don't want these shenanigans, whether it's, this one example in California of a teacher that's doing weird things to try to recruit students, or it is, something simple as, whether or not kids have to, put a diaper on their face, right? So they're all up in arms and they're showing up. And because these mobs are showing up at what normally would have just been quiet little board meetings that school boards would have, that they never really had to deal with, their constituents. But now that their constituents are showing up, they don't know what to do. So now they're calling and asking for help.
And this is a national association. It's representing the school boards across the country, has asked President JB for help combating the growing number of threats of violence and acts of intimidation. So you don't really need a Mensa IQ to see that over the entire country people are pissed off at schools, specifically at the education system. The National School Board Association, which represents elected school board officials who oversee 14,000 school districts serving 50 million to U.S. public school students. The request comes as school boards across the nation have faced growing hostility from parents and community members over the mitigation measures, such as the dates, right? This is, we are living in just utter... if you are not religious, I'm sure some of you are on paper now for certain reasons, but I hope that, I would just say, we need prayer and lots of prayer. So I'll just, if you want to throw positive vibes in, you can, but if you want to right now, let's just pray for healing for the entire planet. Now, amen. This is the whole thing is, in fact, Dex, the whole article did not load, or I don't think it did. I'll load the original. Oh, never mind, Dex, I know what happened. It just was further down. It says the moon is leaving us, and we can't stop it. So, I've talked about the moon, of course, a lot, and about the video that there was a viral, it was actually more of a viral set of videos because everybody was talking about it, including Drama Alert. Of course, you guys probably know Keemstar and all that. People were talking about this, I would say 2 years ago, I want to say, where this is what supposedly happened. There was a video that was trending. It was a live video that was done, and then it just started spreading like wildfire. And in 30 minutes in, it had like 250,000, 300,000 views. And then YouTube went down. YouTube went down for the first time. Now it's happened a couple times, but YouTube like actually went down worldwide. All of the different servers somehow went down. Now remember, YouTube is actually like separated by all this. So for the whole thing to go down, a lot of people thought, maybe this is on purpose. Some people thought that when something spreads through and people copy it and upload it and copy and upload it, like what happened in NZ in Zealand, right? In that country where that guy uploaded that video, people were uploading that video, and what they did, they actually, because the Christ Church thing, which again, that event actually makes both of those a filtered word, church and Christ. That's really messed up. Maybe it was done on purpose. I don't know. So that thing happened, and they actually stopped. They changed the rules temporarily. They said that you couldn't upload videos of a certain kind. Or Dex, do you remember what they did? They like filtered uploads or something. Either way,
I don't remember. It was something like that.
They stopped all uploads, and they cleaned it from the entire internet. You couldn't find it even on like a re-upload on a tiny little channel. Nothing. So you know it can happen. After this moon video, the supposed gentleman who was in full uniform ended up saying that something was going to happen to our moon. This is a supposed thing that happened. And he said he was in uniform, he was in this like down these stairs, and then all of a sudden 2 guys come and grab him, goes dark. The other guy's wearing uniforms as well. He's like sweaty. He's crazy. He's saying that something's going to hit our moon, that we're not going to be hit with a meteor, that something is going to happen to our actual moon. And without our moon, we are goners, that the planet won't be able to survive without the moon, and everything will be chaos, floods, mass, whatever. That ended up, the YouTube went down. When YouTube came back up, everybody started talking about this. It was all over the place. 100, 200 channels all did videos on it. That video, still, no one has a copy of that video. Nobody knows if this video even exists. We do know that there were 100 and 200 people that did videos on it. People said they saw it. They said that it looked real. They said that it was weird how it just got cut off. Like it was, by now we would have found out if it was a publicity stunt or if it was for a product, or, they do publicity stunts kind of like that. But to this day, we don't know. And it happened right before YouTube went down. Look it up. You can see look up YouTube goes down or YouTube shut down moon. And you'll find some of the videos. And then once you get into that, you'll find all the other videos that people did. If you need to, you can go back to the one I did and then look at that date and filter by that date. You'll see a ton. What the hell happened? Now we have this movie called Moonfall coming out where it shows the moon hitting Earth. Sounds like they are saying that it's the opposite. It says, the moon is drifting away from us. Each year our moon moves distinctly, inexorably further from Earth. Just a tiny bit, about 1.5 inches, a nearly imperceptible change. There is no stopping this slow ebbing, no way to turn back the clock. The forces of gravity are invisible and unshakable, and no matter what we do or how we feel about them, they keep nudging the moon along. Over many millions of years, we continue to grow apart. Given this rather melodramatic description, you might wonder, don't you have better things to think about than the moon? Well, no, not really, because I'm a space reporter and my job to contemplate celestial bodies and write about them. And also because representation of this phenomenon recently played out in China during festivities for the Mid-Autumn Festival, which marks the full moon closest to the fall equinox. A giant balloon designed to resemble the moon, craters and all, broke free and rolled into the street. Video footage, unscripted moment shows 2 people running after the massive moon tumbles away. It said the moon used to be closer. When it first formed about 4.5 billion years ago, molded out of rocky debris that had it been floating around the world, it says the moon orbited 10 times closer to the planet than it does today. The debris, scientists believe, had come from a collision between Earth and a mysterious Mars-sized object. Isn't that funky, right? Fresh out of a cosmic oven, the moon was hot and molten, glowing red into the night sky. Back then, scientists say that the moon was moving away at a rate about 8 inches per year. Our planet and its moon were always going to grow apart like this. The gravity of moons, small as they are in comparison, can still tug at their planets, causing the larger worlds to bulge outward a little bit. On an ocean-covered planet like ours, the effects show up in the shifting tides. The moon pulls at our oceans, but those oceans pull back, making the moon speed up in its orbit. And if you speed up while orbiting Earth, you are escaping Earth more successfully. So you orbit from a further distance. That was what a planetary scientist at JAXA, Japan's space agency, explained. It says scientists refer to this phenomenon as lunar retreat, a delightful term. I'd like to prefer to imagine the moon enjoying itself at a relaxing getaway, bending its rocky body into various yoga poses. This writer is very corny, rather than slowly ghosting Earth. Scientists have measured this retreat by beaming lasers and mirrors at the Apollo astronauts left on the moon. Using that data along with our other sources to estimate past movements, the rate of lunar retreat has shifted over the years. Spikes have coincided with significant events, such as a bombardment of meteors on the moon and fluctuating ice ages on Earth. The constant retreat has influenced Earth beyond the ebb and flow of its tide. The forces that draw the moon away from us are also slowing down the planet's rotation, stretching out the length of our days. In the beginning, when the moon was cozying up to us and Earth spun faster, a day lasted just 4 hours. At the current rate of lunar retreat, it would take a century to tack on an extra 2 milliseconds or so to the length of the day. Now, I do want to point out, if this was true and if time was changing just the tiniest bit, do you think that then humans might subconsciously be able to feel this change in time? I just want to remind you, I put out a message that said I felt like time was going faster. So did my wife. It felt like time was going faster, but it was like this has been the longest 2 years ever, right? But it seems like every single day it's just boom, it's done, it's gone. And it's beyond like I'm getting older, and as you get older, time flies, right? Or time goes faster. Part of the mental reason that is scientists say that essentially as you get older, you've already experienced things so many times that it kind of shuffles it in your brain. Your brain if you're constantly doing new things, then it's a new experience. But after you've experienced all the stuff, time goes faster because your brain logs it as something you've already done. It just goes click, 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 and it just zooms past. When you're a kid and you're still learning everything you're absorbing, time goes slower because you're absorbing all this new stuff, and it's putting it into little sections, right? But we even felt beyond that. I felt like time was just absolutely flying. And when I did a survey, I did at least 10,000 people responded, which if you do any kind of like public or governmental survey, they get far less than that. They'll do like 100 people or 1,000 people. With YouTube, we're actually able to do surveys of 10,000 people. It was like 96% felt like time was going faster. What in the hell? What is happening that is doing? Is this part of it? This is just a question, and it's out there. I understand that not everybody believes that this could even happen under their theory. But again, I would just say be open-minded. Think about this. If there was timing, is something happening? Are we at the very end of the life cycle? If the moon goes any further, is it going to cause such chaos that we are not going to be able to live on Earth? It just makes me wonder why China is designing a moon. Why they are actually designing prototypes of a satellite moon, something that will light up the night sky. Why are they also deciding, just so happens they're making an artificial sun, an artificial moon, and then they're also trying to design a miles-long space station, a structure in space miles long. Are they then going to design a moon that goes around it and a sun that goes around it? Or something like this? Are they going to make a space planet out in space? Don't know. But what I do know is it seems like everybody's trying to get off Earth, or at least the richest and most elite people are putting their own pocket money into getting into space. And it's not over pride. I don't think it's all about that. I think it's about who will be powerful in the future. And maybe the future doesn't include Earth. Maybe, just maybe, and this is just a crazy, crazy theory, what if they did need to line up everybody, get everybody kind of counted for, and what if they needed to, instead of a long-suffering deletion of humans, maybe, and somebody argued, well, do you think that these elites really have empathy and they care about us? No. But I do think it would make it easier for them, right? If they did it to where they didn't have to be personally responsible that something happened to everybody, right? What if that was the case? What if they're actually trying to get everybody ready for something that's going to happen? I mean, even this Moonfall movie seems like it's getting our brains ready for something, some news. By the way, just a couple months ago, they told us that by 2030 that the moon will cause massive flooding around the world. This isn't a fear porn website. That's official news outlets saying this. So people that call me fear porn, I'm like, are you kidding? Look at what's on your regular TV right now. At least we, compared to, all of these three-letter agencies, CNN, Fox, whatever, we're telling you to prepare personally. You don't see that on those. They don't say, hey, get some extra food and water. Why don't they? If they're going to scare the crap out of you, why don't they give you the solution? Dex, do you have an opinion on this?
Well, I just thought it was kind of odd that when Moonfall came out, this article comes out right after. So, and I know they're absolutely opposite. Like Moonfall is a movie and it's talking about the moon falling into Earth. And this is like saying, no, scientifically it's moving away. So, we won't be here 600 million years from now to see it leave, but that's when it's gone.
So doesn't that mean that humankind have an end date, or we have to be in space, right? Or is it sooner than that, but they're not going to tell us because they wouldn't tell us? If something was going to happen to Earth, they wouldn't panic the whole planet until it was last second. And it's just odd thinking about the movie Greenland and how they used the presidential alert and how they picked out specific people to go live it out in this thing. If you haven't seen Greenland, go see that movie. At the very least, it was extremely entertaining and it was a good end of the world film. It did have, well, I won't even tell you. It doesn't look like Moonfall has a happy ending. But what's weird is I don't see how Moonfall could end with just everyone dying. I wonder in Moonfall, and this movie hasn't come out yet, and I don't think the trailer shows it, do they go off in a miles-long structure in space and live after the moon hits? Otherwise, it shows the moon hitting in the trailer. So that means the world is destroyed. Everyone on the planet is gone. Is it a movie where the end credits just end with everyone dying? That doesn't seem like... What kind of ending would that be? Or does it end with the entire planet getting destroyed and some of humanity is out floating in space on a miles-long structure that they've built, and I'm sure it will be last minute, right? It's weird. Just a thought. It's a thought exercise for everybody. Again, we just think about all of this kind of stuff. Deborah Lajaro, I don't think it should be strange to think about this stuff. I think if you have crazy ideas and crazy thoughts that we should be able to express those. That was what freedom of speech was for. But also, it's like if people around you call you stupid, then you're less likely to talk about these things. Every great invention, every great thing has come out of people questioning and maybe asking a stupid question or posing a stupid question to the world or a stupid theory. And then it ends up saying, well, actually, there's a way this could work. Because somebody else who was possibly smarter said, hey, actually, there's a way to do that. But they would have never thought it if the question wasn't posed or if that theory wasn't spoke. I think that most of you probably have some crazy ideas on what's going on. I would be more interested than hearing them than shutting them down and telling you that they're stupid. NK fires new anti-aircraft missile in its latest test. NK is one of the on-Earth problems that I think that is a bigger thing that the government is worried about NK. And I think it's by proxy. I think that NK, this is my personal newer opinion. I think NK is being used right now to manufacture everything illegal. Who knows? They could be manufacturing things for the U.S. and others or secret. I know that CIA has, got all these crazy things going on in Mexico and all these other countries. Why would this be any different? How does NK make its money? Well, a lot of it's underground knockoff stuff. I mean, they're worse than China. They're doing everything illegal. Drugs, everything you can think of. And other countries can do things there that they can't in their own country because of UN rules or this or that. They can go over there. They can do anything they want. And NK has no moral grounds to deny, oh, you can't do that. It might hurt the people here. They don't care. Oh, you want to put something nuclear in the water? Okay, go ahead. We'll test it. They could be doing human tests on people. They could build a structure that they think is going to harm the local populace in some place. They could go, oh, hey, NK, can we build this here and see if see if your people die? NK would be like, sure. In fact, there's a neighborhood I really don't like, and put it right there. Oh, all of them? Oh, sure, go ahead. Just give me some replacement babies so I have people to work. Oh, you're going to take them? Oh, well, maybe you should change it from 1 child to 2 children. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and then we'll take them. Oh, and we need some extra livers. Yeah, okay. China steps up Taiwan flyboys as 38 warplanes enter defense zone. This is a record again. It's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Dex, did you expect 38? I think the last one was 27 or 28 or something. They just jumped this a huge amount.
I think they're just going to keep flying every day or every couple of days in there so that it becomes norm. And then when it becomes norm, then they're just going to say, oh, yeah, we're here. And we're going to start landing. And then that'll be a little extreme. And then, just going to keep, slowly boiling the frog, right?
So they're drilling to take over Taiwan. I think that's pretty simple to see. It's whether we'll jump in or not. I think we are headed towards a giant conflict that will reset everything on top of everything that's already going on. Low Tiger says, SC Governor says, rest assured, we will fight them to the gates of hell, the liberty and livelihood of every South Carolinian. Again, you wonder where some of those people are that are fighting against it, that have power and authority. And it seems like, you almost need to split the entire country. It's crazy. Ho Operator says, John Durham is now talking about the McAfee data dumps. Protest equals insanity. Repeated action expecting different results, resistant to tyranny, is obedience to God. Deborah Lijaro, thank you for subscribing. Gypsy Daisy says, fam, the possibility of devolution being in effect is a viable explanation for what is happening. All should familiarize themselves with what that is. So like devolving. And then the preparation station says, I sent in a video of the moon moving super fast that I filmed a couple months ago. That's another thing. My wife and I, about 3 years ago or 4 years ago, we were outside and we were both, there was a marker, there was a tree, and we were like, whoa, we could see the moon moving. It was a trip. I never noticed that before. If you've ever been able to look and actually physically see it going, like, it's creepy. I pointed it out back then. Mods probably remember that. To Harvey, too hot for TV is where it's at. Thanks for all you guys do. To Harvey, thank you for going and using that. Again, it's getting scarier every day. Delaware Sasquatch, don't forget the Nicolas Cage movie, Knowing, ended with everyone dying from a solar flare storm. I guess. Everybody died, though, right? But doesn't it go back into... No? Yeah, you're right. Very few times do they do that. Kim Waxman, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for supporting. Barefoot Lass says, shout out to our awesome mods. Again, thank you for thinking about others there. Raymond Webb says they're hiding the Arizona 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from us also. If you get that. They're looking for context, everything. Mr. Pocket, thank you for subscribing. Michelle Prescott, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Foogle fam. And then, while we're on the subject of NK, we've shown you what they're actually preparing for. The government and the military are preparing for a possible EMP or a solar flare. We don't know which one they're actually, why they're doing this, but we know because Emp Shield is actually contracted with agencies like DHS, DOD, and now the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. Emp Shield is something that is newer. This is a surge protector on steroids. The creators of it essentially came out with it, and it was like unbelievable. It could actually protect against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. Again, this can also protect against solar flares or CMEs up to 228,000 amps. We have a Carrington, that is a more than a Carrington level event that we have on average every 150 years. The last one that happened where the name came from, the Carrington level event, if that happens today, we could be sent back to the Stone Ages. The government and military buildings are going to protect themselves so they can start up their engines after this happens. Why aren't we? I personally think that this is a device that you shouldn't have to buy if you have a house, or I think that this should be worked into budgets and just be put into our whole system. And who knows, maybe someday it will be. But until then, there are current threats to our country. This is a small price to pay to be, if you had one on your car after an EMP or a solar flare or a CME hits, no one else can drive, but you can. That's huge. If you have a generator that starts up after, say, 15 pulses come through and knock out everything else, planes are falling out of the sky, but yet your generator works. So I think that this is a product that could save lives. Not only that, we have a great deal with them where you can get $50 off per device, and that it stacks on top of any sale they ever do. So that's our grandfathered in discount. You can get that per device. So you can get multiple. You can get your car, your house, your RV, your solar system. Again, they make a device for anything that would be knocked out during an EMP or a CME. It's 100% American made. It's a veteran-owned business. They're, again, handmade Kansas. Very amazing, amazing company. Just the whole company in general. They're really, really amazing. Make sure to go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. You end up helping your favorite channel and protecting yourself at the same time. And then we have a fire in Iran to the store occurred at a secret IRGC missile base. Dex, do you want to cover this?
Well, here we go again, right? There's always something going on over there in the I country. And it seems like, we will find out later, or at some point somebody will tell us that they either think it was or it was, the other I country, the is country. But in the meantime, what we've got is that there's actually a fire at this that was at this location, this facility. And, it's kind of suspect as to the location and what it was and why it's going on there. So when you see something like that at that location, you're gonna question, is it sabotage? Did somebody do something? Did an adversary of the I country come in and pull something off, which they've done numerous times before, right? So it's not unfathomable to think that that's what really happened. Of course, it could just be, an accident, right? We'll probably never know the truth, but we'll certainly hear the rhetoric from both sides over time as to what actually happened at that location.
Thank you, Dex. My mic just totally unplugged. Thank you. As far as, well, we showed videos and pictures of this like underground. Is this the same thing as their underground, like that, what did they call it, Missile City, or was that something
No,
different?
I don't think that's that. I think this is it's just one of their bases where there's a lot of missiles. I don't think it's that one.
Okay, I you know what I'm talking about.
It would have,
right?
yeah, they would have said it if it was that one, and they didn't really call it out as that.
So, well, what I was talking about is they have supposedly an underground missile city. It's like massive, or they say it is, right? It's a underground area with all of these missiles, and they showed detailed pictures and videos, which experts said that they had a ton of EMP weaponry. So NK is not the only one. We have all of the major countries have EMP weaponry, super EMP weaponry that can knock out a whole country in a second. But now the I country does as well. And they know that at least there were just huge rows and rows and rows of these. So even if they didn't get it with one, they could get it with many. And that's when we started working on the defense systems for it. Lockheed exec refuses to comment on video showing mystery aviation technology on secret testing base. Dex, is this what you did a short of?
Yes, it's the same one.
Now, do we have a picture of that?
Yeah, I think you can see it in the next tab. It's the actual tweet, and that tweet is somebody reposting the video from the TikTok person that had captured it. But what's not known is what this is, right? Like it is, some sort of aerodynamic craft, call it a spacecraft, call it an unidentified, potentially flying object, because we don't know what it is, right? And then the person who did the tweet, I think he did the research looking at the background and was able to decipher that it was at the testing facility for the Skunk Works of Lockheed, which is in, I guess, Palmdale, I believe. And was able to determine that that's who it was, and that's what, and of course they are responsible for making tons and tons and tons of top secret aircraft for our government.
Now, I'm sorry, when I see it, I think of Flight of the Navigator. Is that what the movie's called? Have you guys seen this? This is just awesome. Flight of the Navigator. This is what the ship looked like in Flight of the Navigator. And then this was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. If your kids haven't seen this, if you haven't seen this, go watch this movie. It was like magical. The little creature that he had that stayed in his pocket. The whole concept of him disappearing was so scary to me. The fact that he like disappeared as a kid and then came back and his parents were grown up. I think I had nightmares after that film. It wasn't inherently a scary movie, but the idea behind Flight of the Navigator, what was his name? It was one of the Savage brothers, Fred Savage or whatever Savage. The idea of him disappearing as a child, and then his parents go this whole life and he's missing, and he comes back and they don't believe it's him. They're like, "What do you?" It's such a weird, and it was actually way ahead, I think, in a lot of concepts too. But that movie, I think it's considered maybe comedy or something, but it's just really... Did you ever see that movie, Dix? It was an 80s movie, Flight of the Navigator. Oh, yeah. It was a good movie. Classic movie. And if you haven't seen it, I know a lot of people that don't watch older movies. I don't understand that. I grew up on 60s movies, 50s movies. All I watched as a kid... I literally only watched old shows, and way beyond my years even. They were on Nick at Night at the time, which scares me because now I don't even think Fresh Prince isn't even old enough. Now there's like Friends on Nick at Night. But when I grew up on I Love Lucy, any number. I Love Lucy, Green Acres, Bob Newhart Show, Rhoda, all those. Like, those were the classic shows. So I don't know why people don't watch old movies. Oh, my 15-year-old daughter, she's like, it's crappy quality. I can't watch it. It's like that opinion is why you see that you need to have better quality video for the coming times. All of the platforms are pushing this high quality content because kids are just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So that was specifically, they didn't comment. Basically,
they didn't deny and they didn't confirm. They just said no comment. And that craft, it looks like it has something underneath it. It's also questionable. Is it upside down or right side up? But one of the things they do, I did see another image somewhere where they do testing for stealth devices. Like if they're building a stealth frame or building a stealth aircraft specifically, they have a system there where they can put it in this building and I guess shoot radar or whatever at it to see if they can deflect it all. So, in theory, that's what this could be, is either a frame or a real, aviation actual vehicle that was being tested and moved in and out of the building, and somebody happened to capture it on a TikTok.
This could be a jet underneath here. I don't know. As far as it's got a vent hole here of some sort. You never know. What do you think it is? Comment down below. And then Samantha First, thank you for subscribing. Kim Waxman, thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, and thank you for the super stickers, everybody. Delaware Sasquatch, again, thank you, and thank you. Over on DLive, many awesome people have popped in. Daddy Medic, thank you. I don't believe... Again, thank you for the new support there. Devolution. At this point, go to a state with a great constitution. Then find a county with a sheriff. Yeah, I agree with that part. Why the sheriff, though? Because sheriffs are better than the police? Or ever dazed? You are all... Oh, I get what you're saying. Like somebody who makes the decisions... Ever dazed, you are all appreciated more than you know. Ever dazed, thank you. Well, you guys are seriously, and I hope, again, I love that people end up saying that to the rest of the fam too. Stormy7572, hey, how are you doing today? Snapper B, Bear Claws, we got Scooby Doo Doo, Antoine Nets 13. Somebody argued, well, do you think that these leaders really have empathy or they care about us? They didn't really argue. They just said, they basically said, they said, I don't think so, because do you think they have empathy? Probably not, but that might fit into why, or maybe they want to pretend they do. Maybe they want to show their inferiors that they do have empathy. I mean, look at any megalomaniac or whatever. They want people to think they do. Snapper B, Kishara says China made artificial moons replacing ours. That's a question I ask. Could they do it on a huge scale? How would they do that? Is that why they're testing this mega miles thing? Could they make it as big infinitely? Could they replace the moon if the moon goes too far away? Or, again, what could they do, a rocket on the moon or something and jet it back to us? Probably not. There's all sorts of ideas for future science fiction, right? Cindy Rose Warrior, thank you for following. Chief 787, welcome to the Foogle fam over on DLive. Queen BTP says, prepare for the love of your family and friends. Vault 111, what is going on? And then Moons Girl, thank you. And Janine Nyes, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Country Guy, Cindy, the Badger, everybody that has supported over on DLive. You guys are appreciated. Thank you for supporting independent. All right, proposed bill would require negative test for domestic air travel ahead of holidays. Dex, this is, I don't even want to, I'm in disbelief right now. Driving
driving looks so much better, doesn't it? I mean, like, I don't know. The struggle to me is the airline industry's taken a real big hit for the last year and a half, right? For obvious reasons. And is this going to help or hurt them? It would be the question I would have. And, and is it going to encourage more travel or are they intentionally trying to discourage more travel? I don't know.
Now, is it is it you either get that or you get that? The negative test, I think more people would be okay with, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Is it we can't touch, somebody else just got, you can't really question. So,
yeah, not questioning, just reporting the news from ABC mainstream.
Yep. But yeah, I guess you can still, but you can't drive to other countries. Well, I mean, you can't drive to most of them, right? You have to fly. So what does that mean? Does that mean boat industry is going to go up? People sailing across the ocean? Or I guess that could be hit too. Clusters 1.0, thank you for subscribing. Lucy Jake says, I'm a Foogle since your infamous creepy crap mart caskets vid. But YT keeps on subbing me. I'm UFJism grad. So I know how hard you work making me a tough sell, but you're the only news I use. Prepped up, prayed up. Much love to all. Lucy Jake, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody that has gone above and beyond tonight. Appreciate you. Infamous crap mart caskets. I remember I remember that time period. That's crazy. Bones, our mod drove by. Those caskets are gone. Like they moved them somewhere. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Those caskets that were parked. Those caskets are at least one of the colors of them. If Bones is in the chat and YouTube, you can ask him yourself. But he took video of it, and he showed the before and after. There was like missing video or a missing caskets. Sergeant. Oh, and we had the caller, somebody who worked at the company, defend what they were doing, and she kind of went by the narrative of it. She at least was able to tell us what they told her. That was freaky. The person who actually worked at the company that makes those plastic coffins even had me pull up a website and go, and she showed us all sorts of things we didn't know they made. That was a trip. Sheriffs are elected and protectors of your constitutional rights. Bones, I get, yeah, but technically isn't everybody, but who knows if, but yeah, I could see a small town. I want to live in a small town. People, tell me your favorite small town in the US of A that also is awesome right now. Okay? Tell me your favorite small town in the chat. And, well, actually, make sure to put in the comment. I'm going to read those comments later. Please tell me your favorite small town in the USA. Kathleen Sims, thank you so much. Sergeant Bun Bun. Marie Shelvin, thank you. Bible archaeologists find Mount Sinai where God handed Moses the 10 Commandments as they reveal for bombshell clues. Dex, are you effing kidding right now? Now we've found evidence of a real Sodom and Gomorrah event happening with 5-6 feet of dirt turning into diamonds. We have found Noah's Ark. Now we found Mount Sinai. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I think, and what they've said is that they've found a new location that they believe is more fitting for it based on all the descriptions and the evidence.
It says that they've claimed to have located the holy mountain where the Bible says God gave Moses 2 stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments. They believe features and archaeological remains on the site in Saudi Arabia directly line up with the passage in the Holy Tome, some of which are fenced off as protected areas by the Saudi theocratic regime. It says, according to the book of Exodus in the Bible, Moses leads the Israelites to Mount Sinai, which is enveloped in fire, smoke, and thunder. The prophet then ascends to the mountain where he convenes with God to receive the 10 Commandments. It says, for this reason, Mount Sinai is one of the most important sacred places in the Islamic religions. It says certain scholars claim the Exodus is a myth because no evidence of the traditional Mount Sinai in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, but what if they were looking in the wrong spot? But while most people think the miraculous event is a work of fiction written hundreds of years ago after it supposedly took place, there are some who claim mounting evidence that indicates it really happened. A mountain range in Egypt was for hundreds of years thought to be the site of the Holy Mountain. But sleuths in the biblical archaeologist organization, the Doubting Thomas Research Foundation, claim that this is wrong and they have compelling evidence to prove this. Foundation resident Ryan Morrow, who is a Middle East expert, told The Sun, quote, one of the main reasons certain scholars claim that the Exodus is a myth is because little to no evidence for what the Bible records has been found at the traditional Mount Sinai in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. So it says that, quote, the real holy site, he says, is in the northwestern province of Saudi Arabia, and there is strong evidence to prove this. So they went through the blackened peaks and all of the markers that is talked about, and they say that they have found it. Now they're actually going to dig through and see if they find even more stuff. It says they argue that the evidence there found by these Swedish scientists reveals that the remnants of a fleeing army. So just want to point this out.
Yeah, so this is underwater, right? They found this in coral.
And the chariot parts, right?
Yeah, that's that they found the I guess the shapes of the chariots encrusted in the coral. Obviously the wood and metal are no longer there, but you could see the actual chariots that would have been going through the Red Sea there. Yeah.
Do you see this? There is mounting evidence of real events like the parting of the sea, and then all these chariots rushing through, like the story we've heard so many times, and people said it was so fake, right? And at the bottom of the water, they were going through, and then all of a sudden, I would like to see some scientists come up with some reason, like, oh, the moon was a rare phenomenon where the sea parted, and it only happens every 2 million years. Okay. This on top of Sodom and Gomorrah, and top of everything else. I'd love to see Jacob Israel's video on this. Global Witness, if you're still watching, do a video on this. They're finding chariot wheels that are turned into coral because it's been so long, and they were all of a sudden enveloped in water. That's the story of Moses parting the sea. Is that just insane? I don't think it is. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I think we're just going to keep seeing these until it's undeniable. But again, if you believe differently, let me know what you feel down below. And then special ops troops hunkered down in California airport hangar after a nighttime ninja attack. Dex, are we talking ninja like
ninja?
Like ninja?
Like sword wielding, full covering ninja.
Something about this just screams, what the hell? It says a sword-wielding man dressed as a ninja attacked several special operations soldiers who were training at a California airport, reportedly forcing them to shelter in a hangar and inflicting wounds that required stitches. Whoa. So special operations guys went and ran from a guy with swords?
That's what I thought too. But then when I thought again, well, they were training. They might not be training with actual weapons on them. So maybe they, they did their best they could do.
Is this a real freaking ninja? Is the Chinese, Japanese, are these Chinese ninjas, I guess? Are these Japanese ninjas? Are these traditional Japanese ninjas going in there and actually doing their ninja thing? Do they still have special operations ninjas? Or is this some guy who does spins on TikTok and plays with lightsabers and I'm going to go take out some special ops guys? What in the hell is this? It says records from the Ridgecrest Police Department seem to confirm some details in the document posted to social media in the photo late Wednesday that said 2 soldiers have received stitches before returning to duty. After confirming that the incident described in the document leaked on social media did occur. U.S. Army Special Operations Aviation Command spokesman Major General Slinker said officials did not have any further information to add. The soldiers' names were redacted in the photo shared on social media, but one was identified as staff sergeant and the other as a captain. The details suggest that they are members of the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, an elite helicopter unit known as Night Stalkers. It says the staff sergeant was sitting outside the administration building airport hangar smoking a cigarette when he was approached by an unknown person wearing full ninja garb. It's literally saying that they were doing special training for special operations and a ninja walked up and started just slicing people.
Well, you can read the actual account. It's right there with the redactions in it.
It says between 100 and 200 was at Sergeant blah 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 was sitting outside of the administration building at a hangar of Loikran Airfield smoking a cigarette when an unknown person wearing full ninja garb to include a katana sword walked up to the person, and the person wearing the ninja garb stated, "Do you know who I am?" SSG replied, "No." He says the unknown person then asked, "Do you know where my family is?" Again stated no. At this point, the person in ninja garb began to slash at the person, striking his phone and his knee and leg. Immediately began running through the parking lot, trying to evade the unknown person, jumped the fence, and entered the admin building. The captain began locking all doors and calling 911. The person in ninja garb was kicking and punching doors and windows. Unknown person left and returned a few minutes later with a large block of asphalt, which he threw through the window of the admin building, striking CPT, or captain. The unknown person then left and was arrested elsewhere. The local police arrived and took statements from the involved persons, receiving multiple stitches to the leg, and CPT received multiple stitches to the head, the captain. Both individuals are cleared to return to duty. What the effing heck? A real-life ninja just struck this airport. Dangerous says, "Hey, Foogle fam, you don't have to read this out loud." Too late. Apollo and Anubis are my cats. He came home 4 hours later. Oh, dude, I hate the thoughts that Kitty's not coming home. Mary Picard says, "Hey, everyone, thanks for the updates." And then Kathleen Sims, "Thank you for your support." Dex, to sum up, before anything, I want to let you guys know that at the beginning, I hope you guys are really paying attention, and I hope you do take the advice to get stuff going. AKA Chicky R says, "You may hear well sounds, but I hear bataba da bang diggy diggy. Sending love from Northeastern Maryland." Chicky R, thank you for supporting over on PayPal. I appreciate you. Alan B, thank you. I can see that you did a very specific thank you. You did a $3.47 PayPal. Thank you. I do appreciate that people do 49 cents or whatever. That is super appreciated. I just want you guys to know we don't treat you differently whether you do this or that or any amount. It's a blessing for you guys to even support us in this way. We appreciate it. Again, if we didn't have other people that depend on this channel, I never did that. But again, when you guys do this, you're actually supporting us keeping people like Dex on the team. We'd like to expand. Trust me. I would really love to bring more people on. Bobby D on D Live, thank you so much. And then Lori M, thank you for your massive support. I appreciate you coming into the chat, coming everywhere. I really appreciate everybody that has come to almost every show. That is super appreciated. It says, "I enjoy the show, listen every day while at work. It's a lifesaver to keep me from boredom while at work and real life. So I know what's coming down the pike so I can prepare. God bless you, Adam and Dex." Thank you. Ken P. Thank you. Brandon P. says, "Thanks, guys." Thank you, both of you. And then ambertracks.com says, "Waterproof Bibles, ambertracks.com. That's amber like the color, and tracks like railroad tracks. Ambertracks.com, USA only. Thank you, ambertracks.com, for the support via PayPal. We appreciate you as well. All right, and then Dex, can you show me some Too Hot?
Absolutely. So guys, head over to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for the show, and scroll down till you find web-only content. There you will find the rest of the story, especially things that we can't talk about anymore. So you'll find lots of that content and other things that go along with the show or could, in theory, make up a show all of itself. So go back there and relive high school. Take a test. You'll see what I mean. You'll see some new news about the Marine who was pulling the baby over the wall in the aft country. So he got into, I guess he's under investigation now. You can learn more about that. Lots of other things going on, and even allegedly some firefighters getting, extra protection on their chests to protect them from bang bangs. So go take a look. Lots going on. This is a really big stacked web only content for the day. So I can't even go into all of it. There's way too much, but take a look. Plenty of videos, plenty of extra content. Marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for today's show. Scroll down to web only content.
Again, that's Portland firefighters getting bulletproof vests. That's weird. Super, super weird stuff going on here. Thank you, everybody that has supported today's show. Again, I hope I'm not coming down with something. Thank you, everybody that's had patience. Angel Believes, thank you for subscribing. Karen Mast, Mary Picard, Kathleen Sims, everybody else that supported tonight. Everybody over on DLive, thank you for the top 3 supporters. Dex, can you tell us who the top 3 over on DLive are?
Yeah, we have number 1 position, Jammer 1. Number 2 is Ever Dazed. And number 3 is Jay Rockin.
Thank you, guys. Jammer, silly song, made already. Thank you. You don't have to do that again as a mod. Thank you for being number 1. That's crazy that a mod is a top supporter tonight. Totally unnecessary. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you guys. Have a good night. We will be back. We're going to try to figure out how we're doing the thing tomorrow. We'll be doing a panel, if anything. And I'm just going to be hanging out with mods. We're going to talk about everything. Just anything and everything. All right. Dex, thank you so much for your service tonight. I appreciate you.
Much love. Great show, brother. Hope you're feeling better.
It is now time for a shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. With the preparation station, Jeffy, I'll be Daisy. I just want to find the Fugle fam by my side. Antoinette's 13, thank you, says somebody argued with you? No. J Dubs, I appreciate you. Ever Dazed. Daddy Medic. Thank you. I love Dosh Hounds. Sure missed my Fugle fam. Love y'all. Oh, dee da, dee da. Lisa K to 3. Jam, one and me. We won't be knocked down. Jammer one. Jammer one. Jammer one. Jammer one. Jammer one. I said Jammer one, I did it, son. Daddy Meg and Mr. Dunn, I'm Mighty Tor and Bear Claus, J Wish and every pause that I take, and my breath, Northern Lights, and everything left. Everyone with Moon's girl, back to good and back to school. Bring it now, snap a beat. Everyone they will see.
Just wanna fly, I know I'm going down. Do it right back, and I hear that sound. Bear claws on the left, penny lane on the right. All seen, no on that side. That Chucky guy, that bear claws, that Gemma one, and that Casper Sparks. Everyone knows J-Star.